There it is. Reverend David Shaw has been in communication with his spirit guide since he was almost 3 years old, when his guardian angel saved his life for the first time. When he was in his teens, Spirit told Reverend David that he would become a healer, and when he was getting his first spiritual healing certification in his 30s, Spirit said that he would become a minister. Reverend David completed that prophecy by being ordained at the Center of Enlightenment on October 15th in 2017. He was also certified as a medium by the church in 2016. Reverend David has been attending the Center of Enlightenment since May of 2015. He is currently serving as assistant minister and president on the COE Board of Directors. And he's also one of my mentors and my friend. Let's welcome Reverend David.
Yeah, Patty and I have been here 11 years. Woohoo!
Woo-hoo!
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
So when Patty and I were driving home from church on April 19th after fellowship, that song by William Devon, Be Thankful for What You Got, played on the new Pandora channel, Classic Soul Barbecue. It was interesting because they had great soul music and they had Southern rock and California rock that pretends to be Southern, like the Eagles. Anyway, that song plays and we're jamming along because it's got such a great beat. And Patty said, that song would be great in a Sunday service. And my spirit guides ran with it. Last weekend, I started thinking about, what should I do for a topic next Sunday? And they're like, you're playing that song and you're talking about being thankful. And I'm like, well, it's not Thanksgiving. I actually wanted to save that song for somebody else's talk about being thankful, because I already did one thankful talk this year. And they're like, you're going to play that song and you're going to talk about being thankful. And I was like, but no, I want to talk about something else. And they said, you're going to play that song and you're talking about being thankful. Well, we get into bullies later. So anyway, they wouldn't let me pick anything else. I mean, literally, I was blocked. It's like, this is it. This is all we're showing you. When I told somebody about that this morning, they asked if my spirit guides pushed me around. And I said, of course, yes. Yes. Reverend Kathleen Katona, who passed in 2018, God bless her, and used to sit right there. You probably feel her, even if you don't really think about it. She used to say that I'm in charge, and I get to tell them I'm going to do what I'm going to do. And I would always say to her, have you met some of my guides? So, here is the topic. I do have a problem with part of the lyrics of that song, and they said that addressing that issue would be part of a great sermon. So we'll see. Gangsta culture has historically and currently is a major problem with society, civilization, and humanity. Whether it is present in inner cities like in this song, nations with leaders like Orban of Hungary or Putin of Russia, or the Chinese transnational organized crime syndicates known as the Triads. Gangster culture is a brutal method of operating in the survival of the fittest view of existing. Now, the difference between animals practicing survival of the fittest and human is that animals are not hoarders. It's debatable if they have a consciousness, but I'm not going to get into that philosophical debate. Even if it is in their nature to collect things, they are limited by their limited space and abilities. Humans, on the other hand, have created systems where they can hoard way beyond their needs. My example is Jeff Bezos, the owner of Amazon, makes $78 million each day. He uses that income to consolidate power and remake the world so it serves him and him alone in his fight with the other billionaires. On the other hand, Mackenzie Scott, his ex-wife, makes $41 million per day because she was a co-founder of Amazon and still owns a 4% stake in the company. She is committed to giving at least half of her wealth to charity before she passes, and signed the Giving Pledge, which we'll talk about in a minute. Scott made $5.8 billion in charitable gift contributions in 2020, one of the largest annual distributions by a private individual to working charities ever. She donated a further $2.7 billion in 2021, and as of December 2025, Scott had given a total of $26.3 billion to more than 1,600 charitable organizations. The really special thing is Scott is different than most philanthropists. Most give money to charitable foundations that they created or joined, mostly for tax purposes. Some philanthropic, magnanimous things, but it's just as much a tax thing. And then the foundation donates the interest earned on the savings to various organizations doing service, research, and or lobbying. Scott has a team of 14 people, 14, that research nonprofits that are proven to be effective in their work, and she gives the money directly to them, the nonprofits. No middleman, no administrative bureaucracy, spending much of the money on themselves, making sure that they go to nice parties and have great salaries. There's some organization I used to know about that if a charity spent more than 10% of their donations on administration, they went on a naughty list. There was the nice list and the naughty list. And if you spent more than 10% of your income on administration, you were on the naughty list. Just an aside, those police leagues that used to call all the time, I don't know if they still do, we never get them. There used to be like 3 or 4 of them. They used to spend 90% of their donations on administration. The police departments got hardly any of it. The Giving Pledge, which is another charitable important thing, is a campaign founded by Bill Gates, his ex-wife Melinda French Gates, and Warren Buffett to encourage wealthy people to contribute a majority, i.e. more than 50%, of their wealth to philanthropic causes before they pass. As of October 2025, the pledge has more than 250 signatories from 30 countries. Most of the signatories of the pledge are billionaires with a total wealth of more than $600 billion. Now, I used to read about all of Bill Gates' wonderful donations to stuff. The way he writes the stuff is, when I die, we're going to give you this $100 million, but we're going to give it to you in $5 million per year increments after I die. So the last of that $5 million isn't going to be given out for, who knows, Bill Gates could last another 20 years easy because rich people have great health care, you know. So 40 years from now, he's going to have finished that one charitable donation, whereas Mackenzie Scott, wow, you guys do so much for animals. Here's $50 million. That's how she works. And 14 people manage it. That's it, 14, not a whole bureaucracy. So here at the Center of Enlightenment, as part of the spiritual principles, we express number 6, We believe that the highest morality is contained in the golden rule. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Now I do a class on the 9 spiritual principles. In my opinion, there's 4 ways to interpret that. 3 of them aren't the greatest, because if you were raised in an abusive family, you've been conditioned to think that abuse is appropriate, so that you would think other people want that too. So you would abuse people, and you would be perfectly right following the golden rule in your mind, which that's not the best interpretation. That's not what Jesus was talking about. And the other 2 are less bad, but still. The best interpretation is to do unto others as you understand that they would want to be done, to help elevate them and enlighten them and all that kind of good stuff. The golden rule has been taught in at least 24 different religions throughout history, dating back to 2000 BC with the Egyptians. Now, these 2 billionaires I just talked about, one of them follows the golden rule. The other one follows the gold rule, which is whoever has the gold makes the rules. And he works really hard at that gold rule. Again, an example of somebody living the philosophy of survival of the fittest and forgetting everyone else unless they can make him richer. The back half of the 10 Commandments are also instructions in ethical human behavior. Number 6 says, thou shalt not murder. 7, thou shalt not commit adultery. 8, thou shalt not steal. 9, thou shalt not bear false witness against your neighbor. And 10, thou shalt not covet anything that is your neighbor's. Woody Guthrie had a song where he talked about stealing with a fountain pen. Doesn't need to be a gun. All those instructions are to lift us up, to teach us to survive. To rise above the survival of the fittest and learn to thrive together. The last of my ethics lessons today is from the New Testament of the Bible. And I have to tell you, I've never done this before. Stood up here and gave ethic lessons and talked about the bad and the good. This is totally out of my ballpark, but it's important. So, when asked which is the greatest commandment in the law, I thought I fixed that. Jesus said, thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart and with all thy soul and with all thy mind. This is the first and greatest commandment. And the second is like unto it. Thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. On these 2 commandments hang all the law and the prophets. And that was in my head because Patty and I watched Godspell finally last week. I like to watch it every year. And that's in there. So I ask that you all ignore the gangsta references in that song and focus on the true lesson. As Mr. Devon says, though you may not drive a great big Cadillac, you may not have a car at all. But remember, brothers and sisters, you can still stand tall. Just be thankful for what you've got. And what do you have? Well, you have what God has given you. The spark of life, a human body, and free will. Anything beyond that is a blessing. The basic physiological needs necessary for survival include food, water, clothing, sleep, and shelter, which in my opinion should be guaranteed by every government on the planet, just like in Star Trek, which was Reverend Ken Nowoczewski's favorite TV show, and he liked it because it espoused those values. Also needed for survival are the following: health, financial security, a stable environment, and freedom from fear. That's the security category. And finally, the third basic need that people don't even think about, we need community. We need socialization, a feeling of belonging expressed through emotional relationships, connection, and acceptance. Because most people, 90-some%, if they don't have some kind of human interaction in their daily life, they go bonkers. Because we're social animals. When those basic survival needs are met, we can reach for higher goals, like esteem, which is self-worth, accomplishment, and respect from others. And the final category, this is all from Maslow's hierarchy of needs, if you ever want to research it. Abraham, right? Yeah. I read that back in the 80s, so it's great stuff, in my opinion. The final category at the top of his pyramid, once you've been able to fulfill all those other 4 levels, is self-actualization, which is personal growth and realizing one's potential, physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. And that's why we come here, because it raises them all. Well, the physically, I don't know. Fellowship days, you can get a little unphysical. So during the recitation of Abundance Principle 4, I now make known my specific request to Mother, Father, God, my partner in co-creation, and I am grateful for all that I receive. We pause. It's coming up. And we can express what our requests are and what we're grateful for. Now, most all my needs are always met. Aside from the request for personal health and abundance for my extended family, including the Center of Enlightenment and all of you, I spend most of the time expressing my gratitude because I'm still here, I'm still alive, and all my basic needs are met. While I don't drive a Cadillac, I don't want a Cadillac. An Escalade wouldn't even fit in our garage. Neither would a regular Cadillac. It'd be too long and probably too wide. So when I needed a car a couple years ago to replace my old one that was getting ready to die, I was able to afford a new hybrid Toyota Corolla. I wanted another Prius, but I couldn't afford that because it was 10 grand more. And I really didn't need a Prius. I just wanted a hybrid. So the Corolla worked. It's great. I like it a lot. I would say I loved a Prius if I had one, but it's a car. It's a form of transportation. It's not my wife. It's not my grandkids. You know, I don't need to love a car. And it works great. And while I was writing this, I'm getting near the end, Spirit said to give a shout out to someone who doesn't have a car at all. Patty, is Nikki online?
Yes.
Nikki Del Santa has been without a car for several years, and yet she is still making progress towards those higher goals of self-esteem and self-actualization. When I am counseling people, I frequently use Nikki's efforts to be the best that she can be as an example of gratitude in action. She's gonna cry. Instead of complaining that she doesn't have a car and has to take the bus with all of the extra work and time that entails, Nikki thinks about ways that she can improve other people's lives, and she acts on them. She brings stuff to fellowship. She's helped on both of the spirit fairs, and she's worked on when we're planning. And she doesn't have a car, and she lives like farther than anybody because she's in Allen Park or something like that. Yeah, it's 45 minutes.
She's always constantly bringing extra stuff that she has. If she finds like nice, you know, her neighbor was moving out and had all this beautiful brand new makeup. And,
Oh yeah, and books.
She's bringing books. She's bringing clothes. She is such a generous soul.
Yep. So, Spirit told me to shout her out and express the following in honor of her. Now, this was a little weird when they told me this, because like when I was first sitting down to write the sermon, they gave me the beginning and they gave me the end. Huh?
I know, right?
Never did that before. So the end is from the sermon I gave on March 22nd. They said, run it back because it was so good. You guys are in charge. I said at that time, personally, I know that getting sober and continuing to make amends for my past negative actions, correcting negative behaviors into positive conscious actions, and working very hard to reach towards enlightenment are all ways that I have chosen to learn from my past, embrace my present, and look forward to my future. I encourage you all to also reflect on your past and use it to fuel an improved life now and always. Now that applies for today because gratitude is all about being thankful for what you got and where you've been. So Spirit helped write that, March 20th or 19th, and they said it was appropriate for ending today's sermon, so I have and I am. Thank you for your time and thank you for your attention.